My sense of social responsibility came from my upbringing in Iran and from my parents' teachings, especially my mother, who's here in the audience today. We will we will introduce her later on at the end if we have a few minutes. But they used to take me and my brothers to orphanages and homes for the poor in Iran and remind us that of the birth roulette, that we were lucky enough to be born into a middle-class family, and so many other people in those orphanages didn't have that opportunity. And that money and material things belong to earth. Our home, our car, our bank account, are ours today, will belong to somebody else tomorrow. And God has given us all a conduit to make money. And if your conduit is bigger than somebody else's, it becomes our responsibility to share the wealth that God has given us with those less fortunate. And we have to remember that we're on our deathbed, and all of us will be at one point. What we will remember is not how hard we worked or how hard we played, but how many people's lives we touched in this world. And at that moment, when we are on our deathbed, it'll be too late to make an impact or make a change. And that's why you're here today, because you want to make that impact. You have kids, you have relatives. I can tell you that what you teach your kids today will have incredible ripple effects as they grow up. I'm probably one example of that here in the teachings of my parents at an early age got me inspired. And what was a catalyst for me, what changed me or gave or jump-started and rejuvenated my sense of social responsibility was in 1997 when I went back to Iran to visit one of the orphanages that I had seen growing up. And this orphanage is a giant warehouse, men on one side, women on the other, from the ages of 5 to 55 and 60 years old. It's really home for the poor. I arrived at noon when they were handing out lunch. And lunch was one orange. And to see the look on these to see the look on people's faces from the age of 5 to 55 and how they savored this one orange, how they cherished this one orange. That's as if it was the last meal they would have. And I realized that we don't have that much time, that we can't sit on the sidelines. We need to be mavericks. We need to step outside the box. That years ago, when I was growing up in Iran, there was a young girl that used to live in our neighborhood. Her family was impoverished. I was kind to her. We were growing up together. But I didn't do anything to help her situation. I could have simply asked my parents, a middle-class family, to help their family. But I didn't get out of my comfort zone. I stood on the sidelines and see this family and this girl that was my age, a teenager at the time, suffer. And I still regret that to this day. And we all have regrets. And I have a lot of regrets in my life. But we don't have enough time. There's so much poverty in this world. There's so many opportunities to help other people. So we need mavericks. We need dissidents. We need people that want to get out of their comfort zone and create a legacy. Because we don't have enough time. Because there's so much poverty in this world. You just heard the stories of these two outstanding women and what they do to people in this community. If you want to help locally, you want to help globally, there's so many opportunities for us to get involved. That orange that was handed out as lunch in that orphanage in Iran changed my life. Again, I realized that there's so much suffering, so much poverty, so much hunger in this world that we need to get active. We need to become citizens, active citizens that give and give from our time, talent, treasure, and by the way, if you want to give food locally, the best way to do that is not to buy canned goods or groceries from a grocery store. The best way to do that is what? Is write a check to the food bank. Because for every dollar that you give them, they give that translates into $8 worth of groceries. They distribute food to organizations such as Poverello House and 170 other organizations in Fresno County that feed the poor. So keep that in mind if you want to feed people here locally. And of course, globally, there's many, many opportunities. Mercy Corps, which you have the website on the back of your card, is one outstanding organization.